AI, artificial intelligence, it's taken the headlines. You're seeing it everywhere. But what's more interesting is what we'll cover here today. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. In today's video, we're going to look at what powers AI. This is something that I've been talking about recently privately, and now I can extend this out into the YouTube world. I hope that you'll sit with me here for a moment as we look at the energy behind artificial intelligence. Your friend Billy G had something to say, as well as Sam Altman and others, where we talk about big tech's latest obsession is finding enough energy. The AI boom is fueling an insatiable appetite for electricity, which is creating risk to the grid and the transition to cleaner energy solutions. Of course, that's what the article is about anyway. But there's something here in this Wall Street Journal article that I want to touch on. First of all, you can see right here AI execs who urgently need more energy to power their tech revolution are turning to fossil fuels. Of course, if they need energy, they're going to get it from wherever they can. AI is driving a massive demand for electricity. Despite earlier commitments, some executives now say that clean energy may not meet AI's growing needs, and that could force AI companies to rely more on fossil fuels than they hoped. Okay, you can read that and you can say, okay, great, whatever. But I understand here, there's a play in artificial intelligence. You could be investing in that. Okay, fine. So what do people get? They get the NVIDIAs, they get the SMCIs, they look at it maybe as a Microsoft play. Fine. But what about the energy behind it? People don't even realize how important that is. And there's another way to be looking at artificial intelligence, right? You cannot have it if we don't have enough compute. So if you watch a recent podcast with Sam Altman, he said that he believes, and Sam Altman, of course, being the head of OpenAI. Okay, so they're kind of like at the forefront of all this artificial intelligence. And what he said was compute could be the most important commodity in the world, the most important thing. And that basically just talks about the computer calculations. And in order to get lots and lots of calculations to happen, we need some sort of energy. So we got to have data centers. We got to cool those data centers. The entire thing needs to be processed on these really power hungry computers. And so in order to do that, well, we're going to have to not just be able to access it, but access it at a cost that makes sense. So yeah, you might be able to get that, but if it's $1 billion for just a small thing, not yet, or it'll be done in this very limited scenario. The longer it takes to get there, of course, the bigger the delay, but the faster we can get that energy in, we can do more compute. Now stick with me here. We're not getting all fancy on the jargon. I promise I'll do as best I can to make it real easy. Now, Billy G had some things to say. And we'll talk about that here. Every March, thousands of execs take over downtown hotel. They talk about oil and gas deals, how they go over their plans to tackle climate change. This year, though, was all about artificial intelligence. So we had more than 20 executives from Amazon and Microsoft speaking on panels, and they were talking about AI's insatiable appetite for electricity. So understand, the people that control all the information and everything that's going on today, including those at Amazon and Microsoft and all these people, they're talking about this one thing: energy as it relates to AI. There's a play in that. As an investor, keep that in mind, but I'm interested in this just to see all the little things fall into place. Finance Friday, I would love to talk about this with you, my Finance Friday crew live. We're going to talk about this, but you got to pay attention to this here now, okay? Well, as I cover it. It isn't clear just how much electricity will be required to power an exponential increase in data centers worldwide. But most everyone agreed that the data centers needed to advance AI will require so much power that they could strain the power grid and stimulate the transition to cleaner energy. So just focusing on the first part of that, we have a strain on the energy grid. Look, if the AI wants the power, what's going to happen? You've got to pay more. You got to pay more. All right? They're saying AWS said that they The world adds a new data center every 3 days. So these are huge things. It's not something that you put in your, underneath your desk. All right. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates told the conference that electricity is the key input for deciding whether a data center will be profitable, and that amount of power AI will consume is staggering. So those two things there, the energy input is the deciding factor. That's the deciding factor. Okay? And so keep that in mind. This is huge. And it doesn't matter who it's coming from, really. All right? But this is the truth, that energy needs to come at a more affordable cost, more affordable. And if they go to, let's just say it's coal, right? They need to use coal. Well, what's happening now is they might say, okay, well, you can do the coal, but you're going to have to pay this pollution fee, this, carbon fee. And so you have to pay that. What does it do? It increases the costs, and now business is more expensive. So you got to watch out with that. Now, what they have been saying all along, what Sam Altman from OpenAI has been saying, is that what they would love is nuclear. Nuclear is going to be the one that they can say it is clean, that they can do these new reactors, which apparently are much, much better than the old ones. They would be able to produce much more energy. There's just one issue that I see here, and that is if they say today, which it's not gonna happen like that, but if they were to say today, okay, we want it, it takes many, many years for them to build. So we've got a whole timeline there. We're being told in the next few years we're going to have all this fancy things. This robot's going to put me to bed at night, and I'm going to have someone to pat me on the back when I do something good. Yeah, all that with artificial intelligence and robots. But we don't have the energy in order to actually get that. So there's a problem there. Okay, so the costs are too high. There's no question about that. They have to start getting on more energy now. Like, look, what did Europe do? They said, oh, we're too reliant on all these pipelines. We built all that infrastructure coming from Russia. Oh, it's all built. We set up everything. We got the deals. We got everything. And now we cut it off. They haven't done anything to fix their energy problem. They just basically said, hi, US, can you put it on ships and bring it over to us? That's not really a good solution. I mean, it's great for the US. I don't see it as a really good solution, but that's what they're doing. And Canada is just like twiddling their thumbs the whole time. Anyway, so basically what we have here is that they need to use more energy. Look, if they go nuclear, who wins? Uranium wins. Uranium is the big winner here. You could get physical uranium, or you can get a uranium company that I talked about before. And I'm not telling you what to get, but Cameco happens to be the biggest accessible company, right? And I've been talking about them since this whole situation since 2020, not for AI, but just basically saying, all these governments, they're saying they need more energy, they need it cheaper, they need it cleaner. This is what they could suggest, all right? We are not going to build 100 gigawatts of new renewables in a few years. You're kind of stuck. Okay, so those are the quotes coming through here. And this is exactly what I've been talking to you about. And so you could see it right now coming from the big boys, as they might say. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Uranium's 22%. And by the way, Spartan, if you're listening, uranium's 22% price plunge is bottoming out on nuclear future. We don't know if that's actually the case, but here it is. Okay, uranium looking at a potential bottom. Is that the bottom? I don't know. I'm not, that's what Bloomberg's telling you. But the point is that more of it is going to be needed. And we're in this issue where they're saying, well, they haven't, made it official. Like, hey, we need the stuff now. Let's start building. Let's start digging. Let's start making it happen. We're not in that phase yet. So it's a big worry, especially for the next few years. And of course, change ahead. Saudi Aramco CEO says the energy transition is failing. World should abandon the fantasy of phasing out oil. Now, he has a reason to say that. But it's important to note that you can't just get off of something that the whole world is dependent on. It's the most important commodity. So trying to cut it out is a dangerous policy, in fact, and will increase the prices that people pay of everything, trying to phase it out too fast. 8 states are planning to ban the sale of gas-powered cars entirely. 8 states. California, of course, being number one. That's crazy. There's no question about it. That's less than 10 years. We could see that. Or in this case here for California, it's actually 2035. So, just over 10 years in that example. Multiple states, not all states will probably go this route. However, who knows what the federal government will do, and they will impose some level of taxation or whatever. The point is, you will have the restriction on what you can do, what you can say, and where you can move. Let's say it's okay, but you wanted to go into California. Oh no, you can't. You're driving a gas-powered vehicle. Oh, well, but no, you're going to avoid that, right? Well, watch this. World's first ever global emissions tax takes a step closer to reality. Global emissions. Uh-oh. So you want to buy a product of any kind? Well, now there's going to be a hidden tax on that product because it got shipped to you, and that creates emissions. So you think you're going to avoid it? Oh yeah, that's right. I'll just stay where I am. I'm in my state. My state doesn't charge me. Oh no, but they're going to squeeze that on. And what about this? You work in Manhattan and you live outside Manhattan because Manhattan's ridiculously expensive. Oh, but don't worry, because there's going to be a $15 toll to drive into part of Manhattan. It's been approved. That's the first for US cities. So you want to cross over into an intersection? Suddenly you're just going to have to get out of your car and just abandon it because you don't want to pay the $15 toll? This is what's going on all levels. Do you see? They can restrict you one way or the other. Think about all of those people that this is going to tax. Do you think for a second that a billionaire having to go from, where he's driving from the Hamptons, got to drive into Manhattan, do you think he cares about a $15 toll? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Who cares though? It's that worker who just lost an hour or two or whatever, whatever he's getting paid, let's say an hour of work because he had to pay that toll to come into work. Now, of course, if you're riding the bus or whatever, but I could just imagine the traffic and all of that. This is crazy the way that this is happening. I mean, look at what's going on. You can see it. You can see the writing on the wall. It's not even on the, this is out in our face now. The restrictions are coming already. It's not some sort of future thing like I'm telling you this, like I've been talking about since 2011. They're already starting to implement it. We are seeing more and more restrictions. The healthcare that you get, the access to, infrastructure in general, it's all being taken away, and the price of everything is going up. You need to be prepared. You need to understand this at a deeper level. I talk about the pillars of prosperity. There are 2. That is increasing your income, and that is self-sufficiency. Do one or the other, or preferably both. Do what you can. You can search The Money GPS Pillars of Prosperity, and you'll get that video where I talk about it in depth. You could see my website, themoneygps.com, where I've got all kinds of information, and there's a link right at the top of the description for anybody who actually wants to get their stuff sorted out. Like if you're that person, if you just want to be, what do they call it, like a armchair type of person, and just sit back on it, yeah, just watch the videos. That's great. But if you actually want to resolve things and you want to get your situation to be better, then link at the top of the description and actually get on with it. Let's do it. I want to see you on those live sessions. Hit that thumbs up button to support this channel. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.